Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones. And just a reminder that council meetings are live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. I now call the November 4th, 2025 regular council meeting to order. The chair to entertain a motion to, by consent minute action, excuse the absence of Councillor Bond. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councillor Pollock. Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please read the consent minute approval titles.
Approving the minutes of October 7th, 2025 council meeting and the October 7th, 2025 executive session.
Thank you. The chair to entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Pollock, seconded by Councillor Haskins. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
Chair to entertain a motion to approve by minute action the November 4th, 2025 general bills and claims as audited by interim city manager Lopez. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councillor Pollock. Any abstentions? Please cast your vote. Oh. Please record the vote.
With all motion passes.
Chair to entertain a motion to approve by minute action the November 4th, 2025 conflict claim as audited by City Manager Lopez. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councillor Sweeney. Any abstentions? Any other abstentions? Okay, please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With Councillor Gamerath abstaining and all other councillors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, come up Ray Wolf, Kelly Ivanhoff, Caleb Lynn, Eric Distat, and Dean Welch to please come to the ambo. These gentlemen are from our Veterans Park Advisory Board, and we want to welcome them as I read a proclamation in a minute and invite them to be recognized, but I don't know if you have any comments you guys would like to make.
No.
You're good? Okay. I'm going to have you guys come up top here.
Oh.
Side, yeah, either side. So this proclamation is for Veterans Day, and we are honored from the city of Casper to be able to share this proclamation. Whereas in 1919, November 11th was proclaimed as Armistice Day to honor our country's World War I veterans on the one-year anniversary of the signing of the Armistice, which brought an end to that war. And whereas President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed legislation in 1954, which proclaimed every November 11th as a day of honor to honor all veterans forces. And whereas we in Casper and across Wyoming take special pride in our veterans, our neighbors, family members, co-workers, and friends who have worn the uniform with courage and conviction, protecting the freedoms and values we hold dear. And whereas the spirit of service and sacrifice runs deep in our community, our veterans embody the Wyoming way, resilient, humble, and steadfast in their commitment to duty and country. And whereas we recognize that our gratitude must extend beyond words, it must be shown through our own ongoing support for veterans and their families, helping them find opportunity, purpose, and community long after their service has ended. And whereas the men and women of our armed forces continue to inspire us through their courage, leadership, and devotion to something greater than themselves, and a reminder that freedom is never free. Now, therefore, I, Ray Pacheco, the mayor of the city of Casper, Wyoming, do hereby proclaim this day, November 11th, 2025, in observance of Veterans Day, and I call upon all citizens of Casper to honor and thank our veterans for their service and sacrifice, and to reflect on the enduring strength that they bring to our city, our state, and our nation. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of Casper, Wyoming, to be affixed this 11th day, November 2025. Thank you. Now is the time that we invite anyone from the audience who wishes to speak to the council to come forward. This portion of the meeting is dedicated to the public to allow them time to discuss matters of public interest and to voice their concerns. We do ask that you please state your name, direct all questions and comments to the mayor. No personal obscenities or threats will be tolerated, and council will not respond to any personnel matters. Those will all be referred to our city manager. Councilors may ask clarifying questions, but if they choose to respond to matters, they will do so during the scheduled council response time, following communications from persons present. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes, and no duplication of speakers' extensions will be permitted. Please note that public hearings and ordinances each have their own separate comment periods. Hello, Mr. Schriftman.
Mayor, good evening. Congratulations to the Veterans Park Task Force and the staff. Looks great. And to honor all of the veterans, whether they served during wartime or keeping us safe during peace. At your last work session, there were 3 items that I wanted to briefly bring up. The first is that the optional holiday process for Christmas Eve and New Year's. It's a wonderful thing. We currently have 11 holidays for the employees of the city, and this actually is kind of like a 12th one. The employees also, according to the website, full-time employees get an advance of 80 personal paid hours when they start, can accumulate to 720 hours, which is more than most businesses provide. And being self-employed and having been an insurance agent for many years with Medicare, originally the Medicare enrollment period ran from November 15th to December 31st. So I was always working on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and New Year's. So I appreciate all the work of the staff, the employees of the city. I've always had good interactions with them. So it's very good and helpful benefits that they have, and I hope they appreciate that. Secondly, also last week, as in the past, the election of the mayor and the vice mayor will be taking place soon. All the other municipalities in the county, the voters do elect the mayor. Here, it's a little different, a lot different. Among yourselves, you vote. And my concern is the transparency. The straw ballot, which is done in executive session privately, is really the vote. And then there's the formal. And I've suggested before that maybe the votes should take place in public, because otherwise we don't even know how our members of council vote. And again, Mayor Pacheco, I appreciate your stepping to the plate more than once of being mayor, and I appreciate that. The last item I spent, some of you know, we've talked about it. I spent most of the day on on Zoom call with the legislature. One of the bills that they were looking at would restrict the ability of taxpayer funds to be used for lobbying for municipal association and also the county commissioners. The bill ultimately was tabled. So there were a lot of people online. I'm sorry I jumped in ahead, but one of the senators wanted somebody to speak in favor. I do feel that taxpayer money shouldn't be used for lobbying, and I have some concerns. And I got a question as far as the dinner that's being planned for the legislators. Who is actually paying for that? If I'm paying for it, I'd like a table. So that's my questions for the evening, or my comments.
Does anybody have any questions, clarifying questions for Mr. Schriftman? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Sweeney.
Thank you, Mayor. So I was online, and Senator Steinmetz's comment about the bill was, I don't know if you heard her comments, but and the mayor of Pinedale, the mayor of Alvin, I thought had very good points. But I take it Senator Steinmetz in particular mentioned about communicating in her community. She hasn't found a constituent in favor of this bill, and wondering why we were taking any more, they were taking any more committee time. And she also went on to say, with her constituents, that it has been traditional for a legislator to meet with the constituents whenever or they had time. But I totally disagree with your comments online, and just thought I would speak to that. I wish you would have heard the testimony from the...
Councilor Sweeney, could you wait to make those comments at the end? That would be great. I just want to have questions for Mr. Schriftman, if that's okay. I just want to, that way you can have comments towards that.
Well, and he's fine to respond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I listened, Mayor, Councilman, I listened all day. They made some very good points, and I mentioned that in my comments. And so when the senator asked me, would I be in favor of tabling the bill because it looks like it needs some work, I did say yes. So I did listen to all the comments, and I even, while it was going on, there was a representative that Representative Webb wanted to know about the Form 990s, and I printed that out. I have some more questions for the WHAM executive director, and I thought it was a good idea at that point to table the bill. But I did listen very carefully to all the comments.
During comment, Mayor, I will ask the city if we're doing anything illegal on our form of government. We are a city manager form of government, where the other councils do elect their mayors because they aren't city manager form of government. And so at that point in time, I will ask questions.
Thanks, appreciate that. Thank you, Councilor.
Because it's been represented, I believe, that we're doing something illegal, but I don't believe we are.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions for Mr. Schriftman? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any others who wish to speak? Good evening.
Hi, hello, Mayor Pacheco and the members of City Council and other leaders of our community. Thank you for the time and allowing me this opportunity to speak, not only as a concerned citizen, but as a parent and supporter of CYB, as well as the newly elected president. I know you're busy, but if I could just take a minute to ask about the city's plans regarding CYB's lease. We really appreciate the city's programs. A lot of families in our community, though, are concerned about what's happening with CYB's lease and upgrades. If the city is upgrading the facility, why not renew CYB's lease versus an MOU? We're set to lose our lease in August of 2026. Why are upgrades only being discussed when the lease is expiring? It feels unfair to kids and families who have supported CYB for years. Not to mention, if the work is not done in time, it'll interrupt our season. Can you share when the work is expected to start and finish? Also, can you clarify who owns the fields, the equipment, and the buildings when it comes to CYB? We would really appreciate some transparency and maybe a meeting between the city and CYB leadership to talk this through. Could someone from your office possibly reach out to myself and the CYB's board? Thank you so much for your time. All we want to do is do what's best for the kids.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Yep. Counselor Jensen.
Can you clarify what CYB is?
Casper Youth Baseball, sorry.
Okay, thank you. I had no clue what you were talking about.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Counselor Gamrell.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you. I apologize. Did we capture your name?
Bethany Moore.
Bethany Moore. Thank you, Bethany. Can I ask, who have you reached out to, if anyone, at the city? Have you gone up kind of the chain of command and reached out to Parks and Rec, whether it's Nick Whips or somebody on his team?
I have spoken to Nick Whips, Paul Zawada, and I can't remember her name to save the life of me right now, but I have spoken to the recreational department.
Okay,
We recently have asked for a copy of the lease, just to kind of review it, and it's always been kind of like nobody had the lease to provide for us.
Oh, okay. You asked for a copy of the previous lease, or?
The current lease
current
that
lease?
expires in August.
Okay. I imagine it's in one of our packets, so I'll probably look for it right now. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Counselor.
So is this also in regards to the Field of Dreams renovations and updates?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. And then have you been in contact at all with previous board members like Ron Kidder or?
So we've kind of had issues contacting previous board members, go down the line, but we've only gotten so far. We don't really get much information when we ask for the information, it seems like.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Counselor Haskins.
You can reach out to me. I was on the board.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So stick around and we'll have some stuff.
Okay.
Reach out to our city manager, a couple answers for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. I'm Brian Voss. I am the Equipment and Safety Manager for Casper Youth Baseball. And I just want to say a few things about us. We have 600 kids. Many of them, it's their only opportunity to get to ever play baseball. We have 6 fields to divide 600 kids on. You have about 13 kids a team, so you can imagine how congested we are all the time. I have coached 5 teams. I have seen the difference the program makes in kids' lives. I've had a kid that came a couple years ago. He was totally shut down. He had just experienced traumatic events in his life, just absolutely petrified. I got him around the other kids. He was very shy. Within a few practices and games, he was a completely different kid. He's still playing ball, not within my teams, but whenever I see him in public, he will come up to me, thank me. He still calls me coach. And I just want you, I'm sure there's many other stories about different kids in the program. And please do the right thing. Think with your hearts, not with the money that you want to get. I've seen the money and how expensive it is to run this, and there's a lot of work, and we do all this year round. So please consider the kids and everybody else that's involved in the organization, the parents and everybody.
Thank you.
So that's what I got to say.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate
thank
your
you.
comments. Good evening.
Thank you. I'm Joseph Moore. I'm a local business owner. I'm also her husband. So I've coached, I've played, been in CYB. I played for CYB 5 years ago. It was a great program when I was a kid. It's been a great program forever. Didn't know all the ins and outs until the last 5-6 years that we've been part of the board, but not really seeing all the ins and outs of it. And we've uncovered a lot. And now that we have full access to stuff and can see everything, I think it might be a little too late because our lease is up August. It seems like, I don't know. Sorry, I'm nervous.
No, you're good. You're
I
doing
don't want
great.
to mess up what I'm saying.
You're doing great.
So I donate a lot personally. I also coach, taking kids, paid for them all the way up to All-Stars, taking them out of town, done all the stuff. That was my greatest opportunity as a kid from a police officer, actually, that helped me as a kid. It is a massive organization, largest in the state for recreational baseball, probably largest within the surrounding states. It seems, though, the city or powers that be would like to take that property and use it for a pay-to-play system to make more money. Well, they already pay a lot of money, and I'm also really concerned with, after reading the lease, that property was a backroom deal, per se. CYB owned another property, sold it to the city and the CDC 25 years ago for the empty lot of Field of Dreams, under the agreement that they would take that money and that land, they would have to put any money into that land for a 20-year lease, and any fixed property after that lease was up would become property of the city. I'm sure that's typically how things go. But I'm just under the impression, because they spent $3 million already on all that, and now you guys want to spend another $3 million to turf everything and put in all the other stuff. CYB would like to be partners on that. They would like to put money into the youth. Obviously, they're a nonprofit, so they would like to, they have funds available to put into that stuff. But it seems like for the last 5-6 years that I've seen, there's been a lot of hiding and a lot of pushback from CYB's board members who are no longer available, or city members that are involved in it. Just seems like there needs to be more transparency and clarification happening between an organization like that and obviously the city, because in other states the city does run the Little League or recreational programs, and they should be more involved, obviously. But I don't know if doing it for softball or travel is particularly what you should do, considering there's 34 fields in the surrounding area right here, and they have 600 to 700 kids at any given moment. Why would we give up those only 6 fields for 700 kids for when they have 25 other fields that could be used for, that are softball fields or are designed for that? Just doesn't make any sense. And if it's for a travel organization that wants to pay more money, well, you're a travel club. Travel. The rec club is for the city's rec league. If you want to travel, travel. You got the money to do so, do so. If you don't, play for the rec league. That's just my concerns. I would hope it doesn't diminish our time, because the construction is going to interfere with our upcoming season, it sounds like. But it's our last year. It's our last year to what we believe turn this thing around, make it great, do what we need to do, put the money into it. We've done a lot. I don't want our last season to go to waste because of construction. It's the last year of the lease. We've finally got it turning around. We've got a whole new board. Everything's looking good. So hopefully it doesn't interfere, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you so
Kind of
much.
just rambled.
No,
My bad.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Gamro.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks for speaking. Yeah, like the mayor said, you did a great job. It's fine. You said your name is Richard, sir?
Joey. Sorry,
Joey. I'm way
Moore.
off. Thanks, Joey. I apologize, man. I feel like, and I'm probably not alone, I feel like I'm missing most of the context about what we're talking about here. So I'm hoping the city manager or someone else can shed some light. My question is, does Casper Youth Baseball not have a liaison to our City of Casper Parks and Recs Board? And if so, well, I guess that's my first question. Does somebody representing Casper Youth Baseball attend those meetings?
No, and I've dug up a lot, and that's where I recognized your name, Haskins. Board members, previous board members, I've been trying to find them. I mean, little weird addresses or phone numbers or people that are like 30 years ago, who made these deals, why were they made, who on the city made these deals with these people. We just invested all this money to just give away all this property, like the lights down there. Misco lights, we paid $100,000 for those. Now they're just not ours. They're going to be used for the city to make money from travel clubs. $3 million, 380,000 of which, or 800,000, was to Phipps Construction in 2011 from CYB. Like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, Jesus, there's a lot of stuff that I've looked into, and it's a big, deep hole that I've dug, and they all know it. But then it's like, man, where do you go? Who do you talk to? Yeah.
So,
sorry.
Councilor Pollock, did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, just to Councilor Gamro's question, I just was pulling back up our minutes from the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, and we actually do have space for you on the agenda. I don't know if there's been board turnover or what the deal is. Maybe point of contact is lost, but we host user groups each month at that meeting for kind of each section. It looks like maybe February is when we work with the baseball and softball folks. And according to the minutes, we didn't have you at the meeting and didn't receive a report. So we obviously need to reestablish some point of contact there, but you are included in that and have space on the agenda to come to that group, provide
That's good to know.
information about what you're doing. We can share information back and forth through that mechanism.
Yeah,
so
that's really good to know.
I can help make sure that we've got updated point of contacts for that. But that there is some structure that does exist.
So I believe that's been the whole problem this whole time, is it's all just been certain people that know things, that like the meeting. Oh, there's meetings. Board's never been informed of it.
Yeah. So
And I think that's designed personally.
well,
Not
I think
by you
that's an
guys,
unfair
not-
categorization.
Not by you guys.
Yeah.
Not by you guys.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
talking about CYB board.
Okay.
previously.
Cool. Okay. I feel
Yeah,
like,
no, not by the city.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
the city is just as naive as the new board members are to what's like.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but at least put on the record, and so that you know that you are included in that agenda during that February meeting each year. So we'll make sure that we've gotten fresh, updated contact information. I'm not the one who does that contacting, so I don't know who is being contacted, but just for your information, there is some framework there that does exist and does include your organization.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good to know. I thank you for that, because 6 years and now the president, we've never heard of that meeting. We've never even been informed of that. So, and I mean, we've been in it longer than that, 8 years, just recently. So to hear it now, it's like, well, that's exactly the missing pieces that we've never been told. So thank you for that. Answers a lot of questions, because now we can show up to those actually. And that's why I told them, man, got to be more involved and talk to the city, obviously, because they just think that CYB is just, doesn't care about that property and nothing's happened. So, yeah, I don't know.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody else who wishes to speak to council?
They just told me I can't bring my flag up. I just bring it's part of the prop to show you what happened at the no trees round. Not a weapon. I'll just show you and I'll put it back down.
Chief, I don't know.
Said it can't be up. I told him it'd be on my shoulder drape. Just hang. It's not going to be.
I'm taking direction from you, Chief, Lieutenant Dabney.
Here, I'll show you. This is all we're going to be doing.
Okay, I'll allow it.
This is it right
Okay.
here.
I'll allow it.
This is it. I'll even put it down so it's not a distraction, okay?
Whoa.
That was, it's not a weapon. Easy, easy. Okay, my name's Ryan Perry, and I'm a resident of Evansville. I just want to make it very clear that I completely disagree with the narrative being presented that these individuals, the Casper Pride affiliated individuals, are somehow bullied or oppressed by the public. The very same group they represent has in fact bullied others. When I attended the No Kings rally, I was met with name calling, being labeled a fascist, a Nazi, a pedophile, and mocked for my religious beliefs. Censorship with them trying to block this sign with their bodies or with their pride flags. These are not the actions of tolerant people. They preach tolerance, but only for the ideas that align with their own. My own family member was assaulted by individuals affiliated with the Casper Pride. A friend's house was doxxed, marked with Casper Pride graffiti and propaganda, the kind of hateful messages that, if the roles were reversed, would be immediately condemned as hate speech. I ask, where has anyone gone to a Pride affiliated home and done that to their personal property? Or have they been doxxed or harassed in the same way? Let's stop pretending these people are all innocent victims. They are not. They certainly don't hold any moral high ground. Now, I do agree that we need to work together as a community, but let's be honest, this divisive political rhetoric didn't start yesterday. It's been pushed by the Democrats and their allies in the media since before Trump's first term. I am not an enemy. I'm not a terrorist. Just because I have a different viewpoint than you, I have the same right as every American does to my own thoughts and opinions. That is what a constitutional republic stands for. And all I ask is this: what civil rights do they not already have that every other citizen enjoys? True leadership requires calling out wrongdoing on both sides, not picking one and labeling the other as evil. That's what we need more of: courage, honesty, and accountability, no matter which side it comes from. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Perry? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Gamera.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Ryan, for coming and sharing with us this evening. Can I ask, are you familiar with the language in our non-discrimination ordinance?
Yeah, I read it. And that's my whole point, is it's the civil rights.
Mhm.
You can't discriminate on anybody based on their religion, their color, their creed, anything. It's the same thing.
That is the language of the non-discrimination ordinance. Yeah, that you can't discriminate against anyone based on religion, race, sex, orientation. And so I just wanted to make sure you were familiar with that language, that it is all inclusive. And so I'll save the rest. I will have more. That's my only question, but I'll have more to say during our comment. Thanks. Thank you.
Other questions for Mr. Perry? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor.
Hey, Ryan, I was just wondering, you referenced a couple accusations of crimes in your testimony. So and attributed them to an organization. I'm curious if you mean the organization Casper Pride, or if you have, if you're referencing individuals who are identifying as LGBTQ, or if you're going to accuse somebody of a crime in a public forum. It would be helpful to
we don't
be a little
know
more specific.
who it was, because there's still an active investigation on who went to the house and put the graffiti and the propaganda and the hate speech on the sidewalk and in the driveway. We don't know. All we know is they went to the evidence. They don't know who it is. because there's no cameras that captured them at the private residence. But my question is, who in the LGBT community in Casper, Mills, or Evansville has had that same thing happen to their personal house and personal property?
Sure. My question though was, you're making accusations of a crime, and so I
Well,
just want you.
I said my sibling. I'm going to say my sibling, but my own sibling was attacked by my own sibling who's Casper Pride
yeah.
affiliated.
Assaulted by somebody who is Casper Pride affiliated. So I'm just trying to understand how, like, what do you mean by Casper Pride affiliated?
So I didn't want to, they're trans. My sibling is trans. What perpetrator? I just said it's Casper Pride affiliated people.
Sure. Who, can you be more specific?
With who? With what instance?
The assault that you accused someone of.
So that was my sibling.
Did the assault?
Yes. And it's all based off me with the petition in Evansville to recall the mayor. That's what that was about. Walked into my house with my entire family sitting there and called me a Nazi and everybody else sitting there a Nazi and a fascist because they signed a petition. And because then they assaulted my brother because of it. Do you think that's right? I mean, I haven't gone and insulted anybody that's LGBTQ related or anything. I went to the No Kings rally and stood my ground, but I didn't call them anything. I didn't say that they're fascists. I didn't say that they're Nazis.
No, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I simply wanted to make sure if you're accusing people here of a crime that you have some basis to be
Well,
to
they
be
are
doing that.
charged with a crime
Great,
in
yeah,
Evansville.
then you're clear to do it. I think I just wanted to make sure because that makes me uncomfortable if there's accusations of a crime that are baseless in a
Do
public
you know
forum. So,
anybody that house and put the propaganda and the hate speech on someone's driveway?
no, sir.
So let's go ahead and we'll move forward. Ryan, there will be some, we'll have some.
We're all
rebuttal.
right. Thank
We'll
you,
be able to
guys.
do that. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Ryan, if you want to stay, I think several of us have some things we wanted to respond to. That'd be great. Thank you.
Hi there, Mayor. Hi there, council people. Some I don't know, some are new. Welcome to. Anyway, I'm Tom Morton. Covered you guys a lot. It's been a while, and just wanted to say hi. And as Keith Richards would put it, it's good to see anybody. So anyway, I just wanted to say hi. I've been I retired again 3 year ago, and so sort of miss this stuff, and do appreciate all the work that you do, and that's really all I had. But anyway, thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks, Tom. It's good to see you again. Anybody else? Okay. Now at this time, we have council response to public comment. Does anybody wish to speak to anything that was said, brought up from our community? Yeah, Councilor Sweet.
So, thank you, Mayor. So my question is to the city attorney, in Mr. Schriftman's, I felt it was an accusation on our form of government and the secrecy about the straw ballots and the way in which we conduct that. But are we doing anything nefarious or illegal, in your opinion, Mr. City Attorney?
Yeah, Mayor, Councilor, the short answer is no. Our form of government is a city manager form of government under 154201A. It prescribes that the first meeting after the election each year, the council from among its own members will elect a mayor and a vice president, which we do in a public meeting every year. 16445A Romanet 9 allows an executive session for council to consider personnel matters, broadly speaking. So it is my opinion that the way that the city has handled it previously and the resolution that was adopted is consistent with Wyoming state law. And I am not privy to anything that would lead me to believe that any of council's actions in this regard are contrary to law.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Eric. Yeah, Councilor Jensen.
Eric, quick question. Sorry. How many years have we been conducting a straw poll? Do you know? Do you know, Ray? You've been here for many years.
I mean, for
Long
the
time.
12 years that I've been on here, we've
Yeah.
done the straw poll. And I think before that it was done for probably 30 years. I
And
imagine,
every year.
maybe more.
We go through the same conversation, I feel like. So hopefully this puts it to bed, his response to it. I don't think the procedure is going to change. It is what it is, and we have made it very transparent, I feel.
Go ahead.
Even Mr. Schriftman said something about the city should know how we don't even know how each other votes. So there's nothing, we're not hiding anything. The straw vote's done on a piece of paper and we turn it in and they give us the results. So there's nothing secretive. There's nothing being hidden. We don't even know how the other people have voted. We just know what the final count is. So there's nothing being hidden.
Mayor, can I just to clarify one point? So when the straw poll is taken, there's no vote. I just want to be clear that there's no official action, no vote that is taken. Pursuant to state statute, that always has to be done in a public meeting. And so whatever the results of the straw poll are in typically December, that in no way obligate to vote consistent to that straw poll come January. I'm not aware of anything that's ever happened where there's been a straw poll that indicates one result and then that's changed. But certainly that could happen because it's not official, and I don't want to leave the public with any impression that there is any action being taken in executive session. Because that is not the case.
That's a great point. So what it is, the straw poll is not a binding official vote, official decision by the council. It's an internal, really kind of around helping to prep the city to get things moving forward. And when we have to do that, we go into January to elect the new mayor and vice mayor. But the official vote that we're bound by state statute is to do that in public when we elect the new mayor and vice mayor, correct?
That's correct, Mayor.
So we're in compliance with that.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I really appreciate that, and that adds more clarity for myself, but I'm guessing that won't satisfy a lot of people, but I thought that was a good explanation. There was another assertion during the legislative testimony, and then again here tonight about the legislative dinner that has been going on, to my mind, for a lot of years, and it's an attempt to break bread together with our legislators in whatever our life at that point in time, what the city of Casper is concerned about, to be able to sit down, break bread, answer questions with those legislators on behalf of our constituents. In your reference today, Ms. Schriftman, about why buy them dinner, yes, that is on the city's tab. I think it's well within our rights and good governance to be able to, rather than, as you inferenced, a cup of coffee, I feel it's better. When I was in the legislature, I attended those, got a lot of good information, and I was listening to the information, not just trying to attack it. This last one, that was my first on the other side, I thought was very productive. And a lot of good questions got asked by Representative Locke, Representative Washit, others asked a lot of good questions. And I felt our city manager and counselors gave great feedback. And so I don't think, the other point I guess I would last like to make is when those folks that were asked by the Chairman Knapp and Senator Steinmetz, is there anybody online that wants to speak in favor of this bill? And Mr. Schriftman was the only one that wanted to speak. I don't know how many people were online. I have no idea, but I think that really it's a very poorly crafted bill, and would do harm to almost, I think the number is close to 100 organizations, and in particular, the special districts. The mayor of Alvin, I think, really spoke well to the special districts today, and how that would infringe and be devastating. That's my word, devastating to their constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Councilman Gamrell.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to appreciate everyone. We hear kind of a diverse collection of comments, and so I appreciate it. Oftentimes we don't get any public comment, or potentially just one public comment from Mr. Schriftman, who's one of our regular attendees. So always enjoy folks coming out and sharing your thoughts, concerns, and questions with us. To Mr. Perry's testimony that he provided, the reason I asked you, sir, if you were familiar with our non-discrimination ordinance is because the language in the ordinance states that if you believe somebody has discriminated against you based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, national origin, or disability, and you can satisfy the requirements of that ordinance, there's certain criteria that need to be met. And so if you believe you or a family member has been discriminated against based on your race, religion, or other factors, and you can meet the criteria of that ordinance, I would definitely encourage you to, it sounds like you've already opened a case with the police department. So you may consider citing that ordinance if you can meet the criteria. You can use it just as anybody else that feels like they're part of a marginalized group and are being discriminated against for those reasons. So I would encourage you to look into that further and see if whatever case it was you were referring to would be eligible for using that ordinance. To Mr. Schriftman's comments, you enumerated a couple of them there, and I apologize, I forgot most of them, but to Councilor Sweeney's point, you had brought up the dinner event that we have with legislators. It's certainly been going on as long as I've been on council, and sounds like probably got a couple decades precedent for that. It is an annual dinner that we have with our legislators. It's a very modest meal at a city-owned facility up at the Fort Wyoming Centers where we've typically held it. Because we do have a quorum, it is considered a public meeting, and we do the appropriate publishing for that. And I believe we've had journalists in the past, and so certainly, would love to chat with you about whether you want to attend. I don't know if we would be able to give you a seat at our table, but you're certainly welcome to attend, I believe. And so happy to connect with the staff to discuss that further. I believe the terminology used at the joint corporations meeting was wine and dine. No wine, unfortunately, just coffee, tea, and water. But it is, as Councilor Sweeney mentioned, a very productive, we have robust conversation. We have a lot of things. We have an agenda set for the evening and a lot of things to cover. It is the only opportunity that I'm aware of that we're able to connect with our legislators before they go into the legislative session and discuss the things that are going to have great impact for our city. So I very much look forward to and welcome that opportunity. It's, again, really the only point in the year that we get all of us into a room and talk about this. And I think it's very important because the legislature is making, especially I think in this upcoming budget session, they will be making a number of decisions that impact our city greatly, especially as it relates to revenue. And so, yeah, whatever small expenses that we may incur for doing that in kind, services by the Fort Wyoming Center, I think is well worth it, considering the gravity of the decisions that they'll be reckoning with in this next session. And then I imagine, Mayor, you'll perhaps give our city manager or somebody else an opportunity to discuss Casper youth baseball stuff. I think that's all I got, so thank you.
Yeah, council member.
Well, I just wanted to point out this Boy Scout that's here doing his working towards your patch.
And playing a little animal crossing.
Hi, talking to you. What patch are you working towards? That's what I thought, it was citizenship. So I just wanted to make him aware and that we appreciate that you're here and that you're studying hard. Are you looking at being an Eagle Scout? Do you want to be an Eagle Scout? Is that what you're working towards? Good. Well, thank you for being here.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a couple comments. Councilor Gamroth hit a lot of my talking points that I was going to talk about with Mr. Schriftman, and I find it is a good investment and the in-kind services that we have because it's the Fort Wyoming Center, and so it's very low cost. It provides a meal at cost. So this ensures fiscal responsibility. We're not taking them to Fire Rock. We're not taking them to Silver Fox or anything like that. This is all local within our city, how we do that. And this also maintains a professional atmosphere for everyone. We ask the legislators to give up their time and their evening to come and speak to us for 2 hours. And so it is a simple gesture to bring people of many different political beliefs and ideologies to come together for the same common belief of how do we help our community here in Natrona County. Well worth it. We've been doing it for years. For years we've been doing this. And so it is well worth our investment. I want to give the city manager a moment. Do you have anything you'd like to respond with CYB at all? Maybe what next steps, kind of being able to do that, because I want to make sure to get them. And then I have a comment for Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mayor. So I appreciate the Moores, and I apologize the other gentleman that came up to speak. I do believe that historically the city of Casper, particularly Parks and Rec, has worked closely with the CYB board on, operation and maintenance of the Field of Dreams. I do understand that there's been quite a lot of turnover on the board, and so absolutely I would encourage you to connect with Nick Whips, our interim Parks and Rec director, to make sure that he's got the appropriate contacts and can visit with you. And there were some questions that were asked primarily about the status of the CYB lease, which is set to expire in 2026. Councilor Gamroth, you probably won't find that in a recent packet. That was a 20-year lease that was implemented when the construction of that facility happened. And so this would be the end of that 20-year lease. And as per newly established city protocols, they will have the opportunity to go in front of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, share their proposal with that board in terms of their business plans for their organization into the future. And then assuming the support of that board, the city staff would then act on whatever structure for utilizing the facility is most appropriate and makes the most sense for the user group and the city. In terms of the question about why a significant investment is being made in the property in the last year of the lease rather than before, you may all recall that we had the opportunity to apply for a Wyoming Outdoor Rec grant to make improvements in the North Casper area. That was a once in a lifetime opportunity through ARPA dollars to construct improvements in a very specific area of town that qualified as a census tract. North Casper was that area of town. And so we identified the needs in that athletic complex and took advantage of that funding opportunity in order to get grant dollars to make improvements. And so nothing nefarious there in terms of intention of when we were making investments. It was just an opportunity that we didn't want to pass up in terms of grant funding to make improvements. I do believe that Mr. Whips and our other recreation staff has made good faith efforts to be in contact with all of our user groups across, as Councilor Pollack noted, as our Parks and Rec Advisory Board representative. We do meet with user groups monthly, depending on what sector of recreation they're affiliated with, and annually we do talk to all the bat sport groups that come to our meetings and present their reports. I think that is all I can remember in terms of specific questions, but again, happy to visit with the Casper Youth Baseball folks and talk to them about, the upcoming season. It is on the agenda tonight to actually award the contract for construction. So unfortunately, we can't provide a schedule for construction yet because we don't know what that schedule is until we get the contractor on board and work with them to develop the schedule for construction. We will absolutely work with the user groups to the greatest extent possible to limit any interruption to their operations for the season. Understanding though that it is the intention through this project that we will actually expand the use of the facility earlier into the season because of the turf infields, later into the season because of the turf infields, and then during the season be able to play more frequently because damage to synthetic turf is much harder to achieve than damage to natural turf, which is what we have now. So resting fields won't become quite as problematic for us as it has been in the past. So it is the hope and the intention that we will actually be able to increase capacity of those fields through these improvements. And so hopefully that satisfies some of the questions that were answered, and certainly connect with staff, and we're happy to answer more questions if you have them.
So staff will be getting in touch to be able to meet with you and to kind of start the next steps of how do we get you guys on the docket to talk at our Parks and Rec committee, and being able to do that. And so hopefully we can open that dialogue. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Appreciate it. Will staff reach out to getting information so they can give it to you? How do you want to do that? Yeah. Okay. You'll take care of that. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Zalima. I appreciate that. Just one follow-up in regards to what you all just discussed. You're right. I did not find that lease. I was really disappointed, but it makes sense if it was 20 years ago. My guess is I won't be able to find it. So can I just add, I mean, I'm kind of surprised at like 20 years is a very long-term lease. I'm referring to an Oil City News article from last July where we approved 5 different contracts: Casper Mountain Racers at Hogan, Figure Skating Club at the Ice Arena, Midget Football at George Taney Field, Amateur Hockey, and Amateur Hockey Club. Those were all 1 to 3 year leases. My question is, lease unusual compared to the other leases, and would you expect a lease renewal to fit kind of the model that we have for all the other user groups? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Councilor, great question. So 20-year leases are quite rare. In fact, the justification for such a long-term lease is the investment that was alluded to by Casper Youth Baseball to construct the facility at the time it was built. So they contributed a significant amount to construct that facility, and in return were granted a 20-year exclusive lease to operate the facilities. That lease also included specific language about maintenance of the facility and things like that. And so now that we're approaching the end of the term of that lease, the city clearly is having to make significant investments to bring the property up to speed. Those will all be considerations for a next lease if there will be one. And certainly if there is a lease, it would align more with what we see with other user groups. A shorter term, 1 to 5 years, is generally what we consider depending on the user group.
Okay. So I just wanted to respond to Mr. Perry's comments. I won't get into a conversation history of those that were have been affected by that are vulnerable in our communities across history, but it's well documented and there's a lot of data and research to support the those that are most vulnerable in our communities, including those in the LGBTQ community, have suffered that for generations. So I'm not going to get into that debate. However, I'm assuming that in Evansville, I think this is where you're from, and this is kind of what Councilor Gamroth, I was just going to kind of back off on that, or back up a little bit on that. Whatever happened at this residence happened in Evansville. If that had happened here in Casper, this gentleman could have come to the city of Casper and reported it to our police. Then an investigation would have been done, and it would have been able to take a look at saying, okay, does this meet the criteria for a hate crime? So yes, that would have protected who this individual would have been, and there would have been an unbiased investigation with that. The whole point of that anti-discrimination and anti-hate legislation or ordinance within our community is it was created to protect everybody, including the LGBTQ plus community. And within that same context, you would agree, I would hope, Mr. Perry, that every individual, including you, with your beliefs, deserve dignity, respect, and understanding. Yes. So when I read the comments on Facebook, and I know because you're on Facebook, when I read those comments, you cannot tell me that some of those comments in there were disgusting, anti-everything. And what I'm saying is, my comment was that we need to treat people with dignity and respect. And I've seen those comments. I've seen the horrible comments when I came out with my statement about me, that attacked me as an individual, my faith, my belief, calling me, oh, is the mayor coming out? Those are the things that I was standing against. And what we have is a watershed moment in this community where we have the right and the left, and nobody wants to talk. Be damned with the Republicans and be damned with the Democrats, because no one wants to talk and no one wants to do anything. That was my point of why I was saying what I said, and I stand by it. I may disagree with you politically, Mr. Perry, but I still see you as a child of God, and I respect you in that, and I show you that same dignity. Show the same dignity to individuals that don't believe the same way you do. That is why we have this committee. That is why we have that advisory council. And if that happened in Casper and Evansville, you could have opened up an investigation, and we would have done the same amount of work for the equal amount that we would have done that for the LGBTQ plus. We have a problem in the United States. Go on Facebook, read the comments. There's hate, there's violence, there's accusations. There is a problem. And I stood for that. And I will continue to stand on the dignity, the compassion of how we treat individuals. That is a conviction that I would hope the right and the left, MAGA, ultra liberal, that we could say every human being deserves dignity, love, and respect. Everybody. And if you are a faithful person, that is the message, the central message of the gospel. Why am I so upset? Because we are called to that. And that's why I stood up for what I believe in. That's why we have these committees. This is why we have those things. But I want to end with this. I appreciate you coming up here, Mr. Perry. I respect you as an individual. I respect your beliefs. And I engage you with that. %. And I've never said anything about First Amendment. You can say whatever you want. I'm just saying you can say whatever you want, but I can also say it's disgusting. Yeah. Everybody does. That's right. So we'll protect the First Amendment right. And I appreciate you, Mr. Perry. I don't hate you either. See, and this is where we start, Mr. Perry.
I will talk to anybody. I will be disagreeing with you.
Hey, I'll take you up on that too. I gotta move on, Ryan, but thank you. I appreciate you coming. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you everybody for commenting. Council will now consider consent resolutions. Please read the consent resolutions by title only.
7A1, authorizing a temporary use agreement with Christmas Delight LLC for the use of the Casper Speedway. 7A2, authorizing the sale of a service weapon to Casper Police Department officers at fair market value. 7A3, authorizing an agreement with Crown Construction LLC for the North Casper Boat Ramp Replacement, project number 23-041. 7A4, authorizing agreement with Mammoth Sports Construction LLC for the North Casper Athletic and Recreation Complex Improvements, project number 24-50. 7A5, authorizing a contract for professional services with Civil Engineering Professionals, Inc. for the North Platte River Restoration, North Casper, Knife River Reach, project number 24-063. 7A6, authorizing a contract for professional services with Worthington, Linhart, and Carpenter, Inc. for professional services for the Casper Addition LED improvements, project number 25-002. 7A7, authorizing an agreement with Ponderosa Builders LLC, doing business as Ponderosa Construction, for the solid waste facility refuse collection container building, project number 25-011. 7A8, authorizing a contract for professional services with Crown Construction LLC for the Senior Center Water Service Replacement, project number 25-040. 7A9, authorizing a contract for professional services for the Sam H. Hobbs Wastewater Treatment Plant Blower System Transformer Replacement. 7A10, authorizing an agreement and addendum number 1 between the City of Casper and Hilltop Securities, Inc. for municipal advisory services in the issuance, management, financial, implementation, and baseline advice of municipal debt. 7A11, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement in the city with the City of Casper and On the Hook LLC for wrecker and towing services. 7A12, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement with the City of Casper and All Around Towing and Recovery LLC for wrecker and towing services. 7A13, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement with the City of Casper and Premier Towing and Recovery LLC for wrecker towing and towing services. 7A14, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement with the City of Casper and MAD Transportation and Towing LLC for wrecker and towing services. 7A15, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement with the City of Casper and ENF Towing Transportation and Recovery, Inc. for wrecker and towing services. 7A16, authorizing amendment number 1 to the agreement with the City of Casper and Casper Roadside Assistance LLC for wrecker and towing services.
Thank you. The chair to entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda items just read. Moved by the vice mayor, seconded by Councilor Jensen. Madam City Manager, would you like to comment on any of these items?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Any abstentions or nay votes from the council? Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you so much. At this time, we ask councilors to bring forward relevant concerns or items of interest. Councilor, with you.
I would ask that you guys would stay. I'd like your contact information. I have some questions. I had a finance committee meeting, and aside from that, I didn't have anything. So I'm boring. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Councilor Sweeney.
No, I didn't. I was so enthralled with the corporation's meeting today and other stuff going on. I didn't write myself very many notes, but I did attend the Natrona County District meeting this morning, the board meeting, and so Meals on Wheels had brought to my attention, I'm on that board last week, that their oversight group that gives out the funds has created a different funding formula that'll affect 6 centers across the state. They've implemented or talking about implementing a cap of 230,000, which would be a reduction to Meals on Wheels, not necessarily to the senior center itself, but Meals on Wheels of about 300,000. And so we were trying to discuss ways of approaching that board to reorganize or different thought process. The funding model from the state and the legislature hasn't changed in a long time, but yet more senior centers have been stood up. So, there are people out there that did not vote for our new senior district. We don't know exactly where the funds are going to end up, but hopefully that can be offset a little bit. But with that, I think that's about all I have. And I also would like to pass some information on to youth baseball also. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Councilor Gamrot.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if you saw, but Mills had a first reading last week to rezone the Mountain Meadows subdivision in order to allow a development to build 80 to 85 homes just south of Wyoming Classical Academy. And as someone who now routinely waits in line at the intersection of Robertson and Poison Spider Lane every morning due to increased traffic, I must again warn us as a group to be mindful of these things as we, consider additional development within our city limits. Just worried about congestion over there. So again, really looking forward to seeing the results of the Robertson Road Corridor study and what their recommended solutions are, because the problem's already bad. Adding 80 to 85 homes right in next to the school, adding 60 townhomes at Robertson Trevette. I'm just really worried about what that congestion looks like going forward. Hank Hoversland from the Wyoming Taxpayers Association presented at my Rotary Club yesterday, and he gave a great overview of all things tax related for Natrona County and the city of Casper, including some of the draft legislation currently being discussed in interim committees. I would strongly recommend people visit their website. They have a lot of great publishings, a lot of great documentation to read through. I would also encourage you to complete their Cowboy Family exercise. It'll show you if you put in some metrics as far as how many people are in your household, how much money you make, it'll show you how much you contribute to the state in tax revenues and how much you receive in the way of cost of services. So it's just a great exercise. I would encourage people to go peruse their website. Lots of good information. And then lastly, Tracy Belzer, our support services director, will be retiring after 23 years of service to the community. Her last day is this Wednesday. And so I just wanted to state that I've enjoyed getting to know Tracy over the years. I'm thankful for her service, and I wish her the very best into her retirement. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Councilor Jensen.
All right. Well, last week I did a Wyoming nonprofit network networking event. We're at the Sports Ranch, and it was for the Wyoming Senior Olympics, who are coming here to Casper. They do Casper and Cheyenne, and I think they mentioned Rollins too. So they're looking forward to that. So they'll be bringing in people from all over the country actually too. So little upsetting that I am now 50 and qualify as a senior. So it took me back for a minute. But nonetheless, encourage all of you to get out there and be active. They showed a picture of a guy that's 106 and he's still doing 100 meter race. And so it was quite fun to hear about that. And we also have one here that lives, and it's Della. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Della. anyhow, so that was fun to hear what's up and coming. So that, and then did the Burger King re-grand opening with Mike, Vice Mayor. That was fun and exciting, and it was a beautiful building. And the girl that took it over is now going to be a franchise owner, so she's just very excited about that. And she's telling us her history. She's been working there since she was 16, so it's from the ground up. So it can be done. Yeah, so that was kind of uplifting just to hear. I like stories like that. They fill the heart. Otherwise, nothing else. I brought my little planner, like Pat over here. So I like paper, and I have nothing else for this week anyways, other than some other little smaller boards that I'm not on for the city. But
Awesome.
that's it.
Thank you. Councilor Larson. Awesome. Councilor Pollock.
Well, I got to be downtown for Halloween and Halloween weekend. Quite the production down there, and I think around a number of other spots in town as well. Lots of folks out, and so enjoyed getting to see the community out and enjoying what was relatively good weather for Casper Halloween. Today, I spent much of the day waiting to testify at Corporations Committee online. About the public funds and lobbying bill that's been referenced a few times today. That particular proposal did get tabled. I didn't get to provide my testimony, but lots of other folks who were aligned with my position in terms of the value that those organizations provide to our ability to do our job and to represent our constituents at the state spoke. And so, you know, we were well represented with that committee. I also got to sit on a panel about leadership with some friends from Game and Fish from around the state today. Part of their leadership development program that they have. They invited some folks from around this community to come talk about leadership. We got to talk quite a lot about service in local government, and so it was enjoyable to speak to those folks. And tomorrow I'm joining the mayor at Southridge Elementary School to talk to third graders, about a similar thing, city service and city government. So same topic, different audience. And all I have coming up before next meeting. So thanks.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, like Jenna said, we did the Burger King ribbon cutting. It was fun. She's the new owner. They're redoing their Gillette store now, and then they will be redoing the other two Casper locations. So east side, we're going to get a new Burger King. Thank goodness. And then Halloween trick-or-treaters were great. We had over 100 come to our house. It's nice to see. With it being on a Friday night, it was nice to see a lot of kids out and about enjoying themselves. I had meetings that day, so I was dressed in my suit when they started coming, didn't get a chance to change out. So they all thought that was my Halloween costume. It was me wearing a suit. One of them asked me if I was supposed to be Trump. But I don't know if it was because of the hair, but anyway. And then I will be with the mayor and Councilor Pollock tomorrow at Southridge as well. Looking forward to being able to chat with the kiddos about government. So that's all I've got. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to, again, I'll be at Southridge. I've done it before. I think you were with me the last time we did it, and I think Councilman Gamroth. Oh yeah, you did it the first time too. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to going and speaking to the third graders. The teacher for the third grade is a former youth group member of mine when I was a youth minister back when I was much younger than I am now. So it's always good to be able to be a part of that. Tomorrow is our spec tax press conference at 11 a.m., which we'll be talking about and updating the community about that special tax that that the community voted on. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that tomorrow. My final comment, and I'm more directing it to the young man here. Will you tell me your name again? Ewan. So one of the things that I often say, especially in my background, working with young people, is that I know this coming to a meeting like this can be boring, especially when you're hearing all these things over and over, whereases and all those things. But also what I want to point out is what took place today in this conversation of what does it mean for us to be good stewards of democracy, but also good stewards of how we treat people with dignity and respect, especially those, Ewan, that have different beliefs. The challenge is now for your generation, because I've often said this, our generation and the older generations have mucked it up pretty bad. And we've made a lot of mistakes and we've done a lot of things. But my challenge to you as you work towards earning that badge and the work that you're doing is that for your generation to take that mantle to do what is right, what is just, and what is right for our community and for what is right for our country. And so that's my challenge to you as you work towards that. And so I believe that the exchange that I had today, while very passionate, because of what I believe about how individuals should be treated, no matter who they are, what they believe, should be treated with respect. And that is my continued hope for our community, that we can move towards that direction. Thank you for being here. And you are the hope for our future. Thank you, Ewan, for being here. Yeah.
I offered him a tour. I wrote all the information in his book for you, Dad.
Awesome. Good.
And I told him he could sit at your desk.
Love it. You can hang out. You can do whatever he wants. Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
so if I could add one thing, and do appreciate everybody's comments tonight, but I failed to mention we lost a great citizen of Casper.
Thank you.
And Vice President of the United States, and with Dick Cheney passing. And I think I first met him in the mid 80s when he was a congressman, and he had a group of Taiwanese over, and I've still got the little gift that the delegation gave me. Catered on his plane when he was with Halliburton. Quite a nice Gulf Stream they provided for. But remarkable individual, and hosted his class reunion when he was vice president. And they lined, the city had, police department had snipers on different buildings overlooking, and a lot of school buses to block terrorists, and those were different times, definitely. But great individual, great daughters, remarkable eldest daughter with Liz Cheney, and gave a lot to our country.
Thank you. The next meeting of the City Council will be a work session to be held on Wednesday, November 12th at 4:30 p.m. And a regular council meeting will be held at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, November 18th. A notice of an executive session to take place on this date and during this meeting was given. We have matters to discuss related to potential litigation. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn into an executive session, and on the conclusion of that executive session to reconvene the regular meeting solely for the purposes of the adjournment of a regular meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Pollack, seconded by Councilor Haskins. There are a majority of councilors present, and a motion to adjourn into an executive session has been moved and seconded. This motion requires a 2/3 majority of the council present. Please cast your vote. Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
A greater than 2/3 majority of the council present voted in favor of the motion. We are hereby adjourned to an executive session.